Well, good evening. Welcome to our Lloyds Banking Group graduate and industrial placement question and answer and panel discussion. So this is the second in our November sponsorship month events. We had a great session on the difference between a developer and a software engineer last week. So over the next hour in this session, we're going to be shining the spotlight on careers in the bank and specifically looking at the engineering graduate and industrial placement process. So we really are delighted to be working with Showcode and sponsoring Athena hackathons and varsity code competitions. And so a massive thank you to those who've signed up to take part in the varsity code league so far. If you haven't had a chance to sign up, don't worry. We'll be sharing details of how to get involved during the call. We've got some, I have to say, we've got some fantastic prizes on offer. So we've got some developer kits, we've got some tech bundles, and for the number one prize, for the ultimate winner, we've got some Sonos smart speakers. So yeah, definitely check that out. And later in the session, we'll also be talking about a mini hackathon, which we launched this week, and there's time to get involved with that, and I'll cover that off close to the end. So what's coming up in the next hour or so? So firstly, we're going to be joined by Sarah Erskine from our Emerging Talent team. And Sarah's going to be sharing details of the career opportunities that are available in the bank through our Emerging Talent schemes and how you can apply. We're then going to hear from Lucy Glastonbury, one of our line managers for our graduates and industrial placement students, about what her role is in supporting them in their development. So this call is all about hearing from our existing graduates. So we've got a fantastic panel today. They're a mix of our brand new starting in September graduates, existing ones who started in September last year, and industrial placement students who are here for a 12-month placement as part of their course, all on the technology engineering schemes. And so they're here to share with you their experiences of joining the group, what attracted to them bank, what they're looking forward over the next couple of months, and those pearls of wisdom that you, our viewers today, might want to hear as you embark on your careers. So we've got the opportunity to post your questions, this being a Q&A as well, and you can post them by posting them in the meeting chat on Microsoft Teams. So if you see the little chat function, just a little check to see if everyone can get it working. If you can just post where you are today. So where in the country are you today? I am currently, you can see here, in a very empty office in the middle of Birmingham. But yeah, just to see if you can get that chat function working, just drop in there where you are. Lots of people, London, Liverpool, Glasgow, Hatfield, and Birmingham as well. Super. Oh, lots of London. The South is winning. I think Devon Nathan wins with the furthest south. Awesome. Cracking. Right. So we know where the chat function is. So if you've got any questions as you go through, please just let us know. What I'll be doing as well is I'll be dropping some links into the chat function. So as we're talking through, you'll be able to click through those links and have those saved as they go through. So without further ado, can I pass on over to Sarah?
You certainly can, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, so I work within the group's Emerging Talent team, and I work with, there are 4 of us who do the same job as me, and I guess our roles are mainly to work with different parts of the group to understand what skills they need in the future going forward, what kind of gaps that they've got at the moment in terms of the skills that they have working within their areas, and how we can help to fill those skills gaps. So things like graduate programmes, internships, apprenticeships, and those types of things. So I shall give a little bit more information about all of those things today. So just to go on to the next slide, if it's okay. Thank you. So yeah, so I guess we've got a range of opportunities to start a career within LBG, not just in the data and tech space, but obviously more broadly, as you'll know, but since we're a bank. There are, if you go onto the website on the page that Bren has shown there, we have got kind of, I guess, lots of different opportunities from a more experienced perspective, and that's where you could go onto this website, onto the more general careers pages. For roles within the sort of early careers space, so graduates, like industrial placements, etc., you would click on the careers section at the top in the red circle there, and then within that, click on the early careers. So yeah, so within the early career space, we've got a number of different opportunities. So we've got 8 different graduate programmes, from finance, from data science, from engineering, from risk to other ones like commercial banking and different ones as well. So I guess the one thing I would say is have a look through the website and try to understand what you have a passion for and where your interests lie in terms of which one you might apply for if you're apologies, if you're interested in it. We've got a huge range there, so I guess the key thing is where your passions lie. I'll go into the graduate programmes in a little bit more detail in a few minutes. We also offer a technology engineering programme in the industrial placement space, and that is a 12-month programme where you can come and do a little bit of work experience, and it's paid work experience for a year. I'll go into that a little bit more detail later, and we also offer a range of apprenticeship opportunities as well. So like I said, you can go onto the website that was shown on that previous page and have a look through. There's a huge amount of information within that page and within that whole site, so it's worth having a good look just to see and to digest some of the information that's there. Just going on to the page, Brendan, a bit with the Early Careers Hub, if it's all right. Maybe back one. Yeah, perfect. So when you click into the Early Careers site, there will be information on all of the different programmes that we offer, as I said. But within that site, there is the Early Careers Hub. Now, this is a really, really informative part of the site, so I would really suggest having a look at this one. There are lots of day in the life of blogs and vlogs and things like that from our existing graduates, apprentices, industrial placement students, etc. And I think it really kind of brings to life the experience that some of these people have had within Lloyds Banking Group and still continue to have. It also gives you a really good insight into what it's like to work at Lloyds Banking Group and the culture, etc. as well. So yeah, I really suggest going into that one. Also, just to call out within that space as well, you'll see just kind of down at on the right hand side, there's the Feel Good Fest and also the Virtual HQ. Again, it's worth having a look in both of those too. And within the Virtual HQ space as well, if you go into there, you can also book to have sessions with existing graduates or industrial placement students who are on programme at the moment. So that's really beneficial in terms of understanding and being able to ask them directly to what their experience is like and I guess any questions that you might have. So just to go on to the next page, if it's okay, Brenda. Thank you. So as I said, we do offer industrial placement opportunities. I won't go into absolute detail of everything that's on the screen, but these are 1 year paid work experience placements for university students where once they've completed the industrial placement, they would then go back to university to do their final year. And the hope is that this would potentially lead to an opportunity to join the engineering graduate programme afterwards. So the engineering industrial placement at the moment is open for applications. And again, I'll go through a little bit more in a couple of slides time, just about how to apply, etc. Just moving on to the graduate page. Again, I touched on this a little bit already, but we've got 8 different graduate programmes on offer in lots of different specialisms and areas. And I think with all of our graduate opportunities, we don't request, the programme is open to anyone, so it doesn't matter which degree discipline you're studying towards. The programme is open for anyone to apply, and as long as you're on track to have a 2-2 degree or above from any degree discipline, then you'd be eligible to apply for that. We do offer sponsorship for our data science and engineering graduate programmes as well, just for anyone who's interested from that point of view. And again, we're open for applications just now for our graduate programme as well. And I think the closing date on the website is the 20th of November, but that might change. So it's worth keeping an eye on the website for the programme that you're interested in and keep changes. Just going on specifically to the engineering and the data science graduate programmes, again, the same as all of our kind of non-technology focused programmes, if you like. They're also open to anyone who has or is on track to have a 2-2 degree or above from any degree discipline. So we've had people join previously onto those programmes. I think someone had an archaeology degree, someone has a geography degree. I think the key thing is that you've got a passion for the subject and for the topic. area that you want to work in. For data science and engineering, we do ask that candidates have an existing knowledge of coding. So it's worth having a look. We've got an assessment practice zone on the website, which I'll talk a little bit about in a few minutes, just to understand more about what the requirements are there. But they're both 2-year programmes. They each have three 8-month rotations. And both of them have a boot camp at the very beginning when our graduates first join. So that is really just to help them understand how either engineering or data science works at Lloyds Banking Group. I guess bring everyone up to the same level of knowledge as well, because some people might have done a computer science degree versus someone who has a real passion for it but might not have done that kind of technology focused degree and therefore have maybe taught themselves coding in their spare time, for example. So that really gives us the opportunity to give those people some kind of core training and understanding to begin with. At the beginning, when graduates join, there's a lot of kind of virtual interactive induction activities to help learn not just about the engineering and the data science space, but more broadly about the group, some of the benefits that you receive, some of the kinds of diversity networks that we have as well. So we've got a huge amount of, going on in that space as well, and there's always opportunities to get involved in these types of things and support with various events and activities. And there's also a development journey which all graduates can go through throughout their programmes, which really gives you, I guess, some of the core skills that you need regardless of which job you do across the group. And I guess that it's really beneficial to get involved in that, and you can pick and choose which parts you get involved in more than others because it depends on individual development needs again. Just going on to the next slide, in terms of how to apply. So again, I won't go into this in a huge amount of detail because there's so much on the website in terms of information that is really beneficial to look at. But for data science and engineering specifically, there are 2 main stages. So during the first stage, candidates are assessed around their strengths, their values, and also their coding ability. And if you're successful at the first stage, you would then be invited to a virtual assessment day. So that's held using Microsoft Teams, just like we're on just now. It includes a mixture of different activities. So there's short problem solving activities, there's a one-to-one interview, there's group-based activities, and again, there's another sort of coding activity as well, which it sounds like a lot to fit into a day, and it, as with any assessment day, it's kind of mentally challenging, but it's also really, really good fun, both for us as assessors and for you guys attending as well. So worthwhile having a look at the page. I think Brendan has highlighted it here on the screen in terms of how to apply. So we do have our practice zone and the coding test that I spoke about. There are practice tests on the website, so it's worthwhile having a look there, because at each stage of the application process, you can go on and have a look to see kind of what types of questions might be on there, and get a feel for it before you do your actual application. I think that is possibly me to the end of the parts I was going to cover, but again, I'll keep an eye on the chat if anyone. Oh no, apprenticeships, I haven't covered this one yet. Yes, apprenticeships. We have got a lot of different apprenticeship opportunities within the group. We don't have any live at the moment, but I think early next year it's worthwhile keeping an eye out. And even now, if you're interested in apprenticeships, it's worthwhile going onto the website and registering your interest. And if any vacancies do come up in the next few months, then you would get an email to let you know that that's the case. And for those who aren't aware, apprenticeships are a really good opportunity, and sometimes for people it's an alternative to university. So you can come along and do a day-to-day job, learn on the job, gain experience and be paid to do the job, but at the same time as that you study towards your apprenticeship qualification, where you would gain a number of I guess that depends on the apprenticeship that you're doing, but we've got a number of different qualifications that you could gain. So we've got apprenticeships within the data space, within the engineering space. We've got business analysts, cyber, right across to sort of different, completely different topics such as finance, risk, etc. as well. And those go right through from entry level right up to apprenticeships where you can gain a degree or a master's as part of them as well. So it can be really beneficial. And again, there's lots more information on the website. Hopefully that covers everything just now, Brendan. I've not forgotten
Thank
about
you.
any other things.
No, thank you very much. Cheers, Sarah. We just had a couple of quick questions come in.
Yeah.
The first is, are the apprenticeships, are they hybrid, remote, or are they local based only?
Usually when they're advertised for specific locations, so you would know the location when you apply for the role. However, the way that we work across the whole of Lloyds Banking Group at the moment is more hybrid working. So I think it would depend on the individual role that you're applying for and which team or business area that you're working in. So that would be one to probably have with the hiring manager of the role that you were looking to apply for. But largely, I would say the majority of roles at the moment are a bit of a mixture of working from home and going into the office. I think it really depends on the role that you're doing and how much you would benefit as well from going into the office. And I think a lot of people at the moment are finding it really beneficial, particularly after COVID, to go in and meet people and learn from each other and collaborate and things as well. So, but yeah, I would say it's a bit of a mixture at the moment.
Thank you. And then does the first stage of the recruitment process for engineering grad scheme include a video question or not?
Oh, I'm just trying to think. I think I haven't looked at it all in detail yet personally because it's our recruitment team that have kind of created that. I think sometimes I think usually there are video questions. I'd have to go back and just double check that one though. But
I think if you go on the
usually,
site, it'll have the details of those
yeah,
elements of it.
within that assessment zone, yeah, there'll be a sort of a view of different types of questions. But usually in that first stage, there will be a combination of multiple choice questions, questions where you type answers down to sort of the questions, and then also ones where you would receive a question and then record your answer as part of a video. So I think I haven't heard that that's changed since previous years. So I would say that there probably will be that type of question mixed in with all the other ones.
Yeah, and the last one I can answer is, so what's the start date for the technology engineering graduate scheme? Is this flexible? So the graduate scheme starts it's usually in late September. Each scheme start. We're not flexible with the dates because of the boot camp and the training that we provide at the start of it. So you'd have to be available to work for the end of September when that starts. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sarah. If you've got any more questions, just drop them in the chat and we'll get to them when we can. Super. So next up, I'm introducing Lucy. Lucy is one of our graduate and industrial placement line managers, and she's here to talk to you about what her role is in around supporting and newest and greatest emerging talent as they join the bank. Lucy, can I hand over to you?
No worries, thanks, Bren. So yes, my name's Lucy, and my official title is a Future Skills Engineering Manager. So we work, really, there's a number of us, so I'm just going to talk about me because I'm selfish like that. But we work very closely with Sarah in this sort of central emerging talent team, but we're very much focused on the technology engineering graduates and the industrial placement students. So we kind of act, I guess, as line managers, certainly to the graduates, but I'll sort of talk through that and explain it in a little bit more detail. So yeah, we're dedicated effectively to those types of schemes. So if I talk a little bit about the industrial placement students first, so we do help and support you throughout that programme. So we'll arrange your placement because you're in one place for the entire year, and you will actually be kind of line managed by your placement team manager because you'll be working really closely with them, and that kind of makes more sense. But we are here to support. And whenever needed, whenever you need any support from us, we try and help where possible to give you opportunities for your own development and different kind of volunteering type schemes, like the type of things that the industrial placement students that have come along today, these kind of opportunities to help kind of grow our future talent. So we generally sort of check in relatively regularly just to make sure everything is going really well. And we also sort of step in towards the end of the scheme. When you start getting towards that kind of roll-off period, I guess, where you're going to go back to university, but we ultimately want to get you to a place where we can offer you a place on the next graduate scheme. If all going well, which we're certainly having fantastic feedback from our current cohort, we'll hope to be able to give you that offer at the end of the year. So That's how we kind of support the industrial placement students. We do kind of let you just settle into your team and get that work experience, but we are here to support. Now with the graduates, it's kind of slightly different because you are going to be working in 3 different placements or rotations, as Sarah called it earlier. It's effectively the same thing. So you're going to be working across those different teams throughout. So, and that's across that 2-year period. So what we have is a process where me, for example, would be a line manager to you throughout that entire 2-year scheme. And I think what we've realized is that kind of gives you guys that continuity, and you get a chance to really build good relationships with us, rather than you having to have different line managers 3 times throughout the 2-year period. So although you will work with those placement managers, the people that are task managing you on a day-to-day basis, we just wanted you to have that continuity. So we have got that set up. So we get really involved in welcoming you into the group, and we make sure you've got all the equipment and everything you need to get started. We mentioned the sort of boot camp training that you'll go on at the beginning, so we support that, and we make sure you're really well inducted into Lloyds Banking Group, because there's a lot to learn about what's available and what's on offer. So we also help to make sure that your placements are secured, and we help you transition between those as well. So, and it's very much certainly your first placement we will decide for you, but after that we'll work really closely with you to get the best placement that's going to help support your future career as you go through the scheme, and of course what you're interested in as well. So once you're actually in your placement teams, we will have regular one-to-one conversations with you. We'll support you through our performance management process, which sounds scary, but it's really not. It's there to help and support you and develop you and make sure that you're being well supported and you're getting what you need. We'll also work really closely with your placement managers and you to make sure that you've kind of got clear objectives about what you're looking to achieve throughout the placement, and of course what support that you'll need as well in any sort of training and development. So we'll also make sure you get the most of all the amazing benefits that you get from working in Lloyds Banking Group. And there's some brilliant learning tools and everything like that. So we're here to kind of make sure, oversee all of that, make sure you're getting all that support. And the time that you spend in your placements with your teams is there to really learn about the work and get embedded in the teams and how they work. And of course, become a really effective member of that team. And then once you come towards the end of the 2 years, we'll work closely with you to help you secure a role when you effectively roll off the scheme. So the 2 years will come to an end at some point, and we'll work with you to make sure that you find the place that you kind of want to stay and hopefully stay with us for the long term.
Super. Thank you very much, Lucy. That's great. We've had a question come in. I think this is more just in general around the scheme. So a lot of universities may not cover all the necessary knowledge in technology that's required to enter the internship or apprenticeship programs. How can we expect the details of requirements to be posted before application deadlines to start grinding the e-learnings? So, and I think as Lucy was saying, we provide a lot of training for people in their boot camps and when they start with us to bring people up to that level, because there's going to be disparity between different courses, different universities, and different knowledge and what they're understanding. I would say definitely the first place to look is the websites and the support in seeing how we assess and what we assess for, because in those sites we're really specific around sort of expectations of people coming in, and we are really aware that everyone's going to have different levels or different specialisms which might not match into what we've got here at Lloyds Banking Group in terms of technology. So I'd say definitely check out those sites, and they've got the detail in there and you'll be able to see that information.
And just to add to that point, actually, is particularly for apprenticeships, we don't necessarily need existing knowledge of some of the engineering tools and systems and things like that, because they kind of do start at entry level, so you would receive a lot of that on the job. I think a lot of it is about showing that willingness to learn and that behavioural side of things and that kind of passion for what it is that you're applying for. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily rule yourself out of something like that, because some of these more apprenticeship type vacancies do tend to give you the opportunity to learn on the job, as opposed to expecting you to know it all before you start. So
yeah, thank you. Super. Okay, so as we've been saying, any questions as we go through, please raise them in here. But I'd now like to introduce industrial placements. I work in a bank, so which means I use acronyms all the time. So you'll probably hear us go the IPs, but they're industrial placements. And our 2021 graduates for Shmita and Jacob as well, who's just started recently. afternoon or good evening.
Hello.
Hey, Sushmita. Are you there as well, Jacob? Super. And I know that Oyen has an issue with her webcam,
Yeah,
which is the
sorry.
worst. Don't worry about it whatsoever. Okay, welcome, guys. Okay, I think we'll start off in the simplest way. If we just go around, just give us your name, sort of your background, what university you attended, and which course you did, and then what team you're in now at Lloyds Banking Group. So I'll start off with Sushmita. Can we start with you?
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Sushmita. I studied bachelor's in computer science from University of Hertfordshire, and I graduated in 2021. And the same year, I joined the software engineering scheme, which is now known as the technology engineering scheme in the same year. And then from then I have had 2 placements, currently working in the second one. And the first placement, I joined the quality engineering team, and currently I'm in the economic crime prevention team. And within that, I'm in the tax compensation and deposit protection.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Jacob?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Jacob Simon. Just started this year, literally like 2 months ago now in September. So very new to the bank and just like software engineering in general, because my background is I have a maths degree actually from University of Dundee all the way up in Scotland. So yeah, very different background to quite a lot of people, but surprisingly not that different. I mean, some people on the grad scheme even have like psychology degrees. Like can't remember the other one that I had, but yeah.
We've got a lot of biochemists. Always the way. I don't know what that is.
Really?
But,
Haven't met any biochemists yet, but yeah. Right now I'm working in the finance value stream, which to kind of sum it up and describe it, it's pretty much all the processes that go on in the bank feed into a general ledger that gets published every quarter, I believe. And we're currently working with like basically just readjusting how that data flows in, how things kind of operate behind the scenes.
Super. Thank you very much. And Oyen, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Oyin Kosola Aremu. I'm a master's student. I'm currently studying Masters in Software Engineering at the University of Hertfordshire. I joined Lloyds June this year as an industrial placement student, and I'm currently working in the DevOps Center of Excellence team. Yeah. Nice to meet everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you. And we'll stick with you, Oyen. So what attracted you to first apply for an industrial placement scheme, and why in Lloyds?
Okay, why I decided to apply for an industrial placement scheme, because I just saw it as an opportunity to build my network. I saw it as an opportunity to build my network, to build my professional network. And I also saw it as an opportunity to gain industrial experience, because I know with all of this, I would be more valuable to the technology industry after my master's program. And the reason why I joined Lloyds is because after going through information of the industrial placement, I realized that it aligns with one of my goals of actually like developing software solutions that are customer focused. So it aligns with what I want to do. So that's one of the reasons. And I can see that it provides a platform for one to upskill oneself, gain industrial experience, and also work with other industry professionals. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm actually working with experienced professionals, which is very good for me. Yeah, so that's why.
Fantastic. Thank you. And the same question to you, Sushmita.
So once like I was in my 3rd year, and I knew I wanted to be working in industry which had either development or something to do with software engineering, and I was applying to lots of companies, etc. And what made me like really decide to choose Lloyds was also like the application process was very inclusive. It was strength based instead of CV based, and the assessment center, like I was so nervous in the morning, but as the day went on, it's like pretty long day, but I just got less and less nervous, and I really liked speaking to people. And I was like, okay, if they do decide to choose me, I really like the people and I would like love to work for the company. I think that was my decision-making moment, was during the assessment center.
Super. Thank you very much. Good time to choose that when you want to do it during the interview. I love that. and Jacob, so yeah, why did you choose Lloyds, or why did Lloyds choose you? Maybe.
Yeah, so that's actually a weird one. So Lloyd's actually reached out to me because I competed in the Showcode challenges. Scored pretty highly. I believe I was the winner according to Brendan here. Not sure if that's 100% true or not, but you know, it's a title nonetheless. So yeah, I actually, after graduating with a maths degree, I really wanted to get into software engineering. It's always been like a huge passion of mine, you know, coding on the side, like since I was a kid, pretty much. But sadly, I couldn't get a job due to my background being pure mathematics. Lloyd's is actually the only employer who kind of noticed the fact that I can like perform in these challenges. You know, like my coding background is actually very solid. I just don't have any kind of anything I can present. Like I don't have like a portfolio of my own, anything like that. And they're like the only employer who actually values like, you know, the fact that you enjoy doing code on your own. Like that's probably like the best quality to have in a software engineer. You know, it's someone who actually enjoys the code, because then obviously they're going to enjoy their job. They're going to do code in their own time and be constantly improving. So yeah, that's why Lloyd's really sticks out to me, is because they're the only employer who actually looked for the fact that, you know, this person really enjoys code, even though they might not necessarily have the correct background for this job.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. And just as a little flag, so as part of our scheme that we're running with Varsity Code, is that we've got those good prizes which I mentioned at the start, but we're also looking for talented individuals just like Jacob, who we can fast track through our assessment centres. So yeah, so definitely one to look out if you're interested in joining us on there. Super. Okay then. So Sushmita, you've now been here for 12 months, or just gone 12 months. I bet time has flown when you're having fun. So what are you looking forward to in the next couple of months? What's on the agenda for you?
So, like very near in the future, like I'm looking forward to completing one of the projects that I've been working on in my team, and the project was going on for quite a long time. So it's gonna go live at the end of November. So very much looking forward to that. But also in addition to that, I've been having talks with my line manager and my placement manager about my next placement, which is going to be my third and final placement for the grad scheme. And so I have been very interested in machine learning as well as backend development. So I'm just looking forward to just seeing where I'll end up for my final placement.
Super. I'm diving for the mute button as the cleaners are vacuuming around me. So apologies if there's some noises behind me. That's what you get for being in the office late. So, Ian, again, similar question to you. So you've been here for about 6 months. You've got 6 months left on the placement scheme. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to or achieving in the next couple of months?
Yes, okay, because I'm just new to the DevOps like skill set and everything. So I'm just trying to wrap my head and trying to understand it properly. So what I'm looking forward to is the end of at the end of the placement, I should have like grounded skills on DevOps. Yes, so that I'll be able to contribute better. Yeah. And also I've been encouraged to study for the Google Cloud Associate exams, yes. DevOps Google Cloud Associate Engineer exams, yes. So I believe that at the end of the placement, I should have passed the certification and be more grounded, yes, in the DevOps sector. Yeah.
Super. So you mentioned then that you work in the DevOps team. Can you tell us a little bit more about what DevOps is and what is it you do within the team?
Okay, so the DevOps team, we work hand in hand with the software application team. So what we do is to develop automated processes that would be utilized by the software application team to ensure that they can rapidly develop their code, build their solutions, and deliver it in a secure manner. So we work hand in hand with the software application team to just ensure that code delivery, deployment is rapid and secured. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll move on then. I've got some questions about sort of your learning development. You touched on, or in that you've done the GCP certification for Google Cloud. It'd be good, yeah. So Shamia, what kind of work have you done on your personal development, or what opportunities have you had to sort of develop yourself and your skills?
Yeah, so when I started on the scheme, all of the grads, we had to go through some general trainings. That included a lot of DevOps training, Azure Fundamental certifications, and Machine Engineering Accelerator. And Machine Engineering Accelerator encompasses like a lot of things that includes cloud, learning about Jenkins, learning about databases. It also, you learn a lot about Dockers and containers. So we did that. And then I also expressed interest in getting GCP certification as well. So I'm preparing for that currently. And I believe before I start the third placement, there will be like a 5-day training course for all of the grads that we will be going on and then learning a lot about, I guess, like Dockers again, like containers, etc. Java, JavaScript. So very much looking forward to that. I also got a lot of training on my team specific tools and frameworks that I would be using. So for my first placement, I was in the quality engineering team, and I had like little to no idea about quality engineering in the uni. So I was really nervous about it, but my line manager told me I would be learning everything that I would be using in the team and like everything that I would be working on. So I got lots of training on a lot of frameworks and testing tools, etc. when I joined the team. Even for my current team, when I joined, I got lots of training for the languages I would be using. I got to learn a lot about Scala, Spark, and using IntelliJ, etc. So I believe also like if you are interested in some of the training courses and it's not offered as general or your team specific training, you can definitely like request if it's available to kind of go away and get that training for yourself and personal development.
Super. Thank you very much. And I think that's I've only recently moved into the technology space, and it's what shocked me was just how much there is a focus on development in terms of you're constantly needing to develop your skills as new things come in, the latest technology might land, and people want to develop themselves, but also it's what we're building into the bank. And you mentioned Azure and GCP, and that's definitely something which we're seeing as we move to that cloud strategy that we're taking within the group, and what the training that is available there to support you in that journey. So fantastic to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I also like, I think just a quick note, as a grad, you also get like 20% of your time that you can spend on learning itself. So I think that's a big benefit of joining like as a grad, because you do get to focus quite a lot on your personal development.
Yeah, put it a priority, which is always what we're looking for. Fantastic. Jacob, you've just joined. Can you tell us a bit about what you've been doing for the last 4 weeks, which I think, yeah, you finished at the end of last week?
Yeah. So we just got finished with the can't remember the exact name for it. Modern Engineering Accelerator. Yeah, that's it. What the abbreviation stands for is the MEA. That was a 4-week course, basically covering kind of everything from the ground up. So we literally started in pure basics, as if you'd never done any code before. And as things went on, we progressed into like, kind of more advanced things, more things that you probably would never have touched unless you had like a very good software background. So it's like Jenkins pipelines and like Docker containers, things like that. Also working in like so all the work we did actually was on the cloud. So we had the cloud instances spun up for us using like I think they were Linux boxes. So we connect to it and kind of send commands through command line, which is like pretty interesting actually, because I've never worked like that before. Yeah, aside from that, similarly to everyone else, been pushed already to start prepping for GCP certifications, which I've been told, get time off for to start studying for, things like that. Just coming back into the office this week even, I've got like calls set up. So just to premise this, I came back to the office literally yesterday on Monday, and already I'm like being put into calls to kind of like help me learn these different tools I'm going to be using during my time in my first placement. Like making sure that I have like deep knowledge of like all the stuff that I'm going to need to do. Something else that helps quite a lot as well is in the bank now, there's a huge push for documentation and things like that. in code especially, and everything is very open. So, for example, if there's something I didn't understand, I can likely find something on Lloyd systems itself rather than have to reach out to someone, ask them hey, can you set up a call to teach me this? It's kind of I can kind of self-teach, and there's so much I mean, I could sit here for hours and hours and hours. I could waste months just going through everything that's on there and available to me.
So, cracking, that's great. So just a reminder, if anyone's got any questions for our panel today, just drop them into the chat function. I can pose them to them. But I've got just a couple more questions for you all, and we'll stick with you, Jacob. So you've been here the grand total of 6 weeks. This is your 7th week here. So anything that surprised you in your 7 weeks that you didn't know about LBG or you didn't expect?
Yeah, so big one for me personally. I worked as a teacher last year. Dress code very strict. Literally everything had to be perfect and on point. Coming into a bank, you would expect kind of similar thing suit and tie, but I mean, I literally just came at the office to get back, and this is what I was wearing. Dress code is, I believe the saying is dress for your day, and day in the life of a software engineer, you don't really need to dress in any particular way. You can just be as casual as comfortable as you want to be, and that's something else I've kind of experienced so far. Is just how informal things are. I would expect everything to be super overly formal coming into a bank, but in reality, it's very relaxed. I can just kind of go. I mean, in my very first week, when the head engineers just came over and was hey, do you guys want to check something out that I'm going over right now? And it's sure, and we just pulled up chairs over, we wheeled it over, and just kind of looked at what he was doing, and he was just explaining everything to us, and it was just really nice. I just love the kind of culture that Lloyds has. It was really surprising to me.
Cracking, awesome. And Sushmita, anything that's surprised you over the last 12 months, or you've learned over the last 12 months about LBG?
Yeah, I feel just I didn't anticipate how fast Lloyds would be, just in terms of what kind of job and roles are available. Just because I would think, oh, it's a bank, so obviously I could imagine what kind of work there would be, how many roles there would be. Very wrong. Even I have team members who have been in the bank for 20 years, and I would mention something, they'll be yep, never heard about that role or never heard about that position before. So just goes to show just really vast. And then I think that's a good thing, because then you can actually pick and choose what you like to work in, and you have lots of opportunities to probably, if you like something, you will find something that matches that.
Super, thank you. And Oyen, what's is there anything you've discovered in the last 6 months or 5 months or so?
Okay, so what I've discovered is it's just seeing lots of people, employees, staying in the organization for a very long time. So you just hear someone that's been here for 19 years, 20 years, and which is a very good thing, because it just shows that they enjoy working in the organization, right? So it's a very good thing. But it was just I was just so surprised, yeah. And also the acronyms. When I came to the loads of acronyms, I had to keep asking, what is this? Yes, I think someone actually pointed me to a site where I could get the meaning of the abbreviations. Yeah.
The acro list, yeah. I know, well, I use it constantly. We love an acronym here. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, we're we're really big on them. Yeah, so just a reminder to anyone, if you've got any questions for our panel, just drop them in, whatever it may be, and let us know. Did you find in your own experience many people starting at the same time with you? I'm interested in the number of available places. I know it can vary on position and location, but curious on average poll numbers. So for our graduate scheme for this year, the ones so Jacob's Jacob's cohort, we brought in 65. The year before in Sushmita's we brought in 15, and that trajectory is going up. So we're looking to expand beyond what we've had already this year, 65. So we're looking to grow. So that's definitely something we're looking to do, is get more people in. Did you find in your own experience many people starting at the same time with you? Chris, could you just give a bit more detail about that first part? Just yeah, just so I can understand yeah, so I suppose I'll interpret it on one way, but please leave a note in there if you think it's different. But yeah, our cohorts, everyone starts together, so all the group will start together. And so when we had 15 a couple of years ago, we were able to bring everyone together. For Jacob's cohort a few months ago, we were able to bring everyone together the first couple of days, but then we split people up into different cohorts for the training, just because you can't do 65 at once. And yes, you've put on there. Everyone starts together, so you become a group as a whole.
And just to add on to that, I guess, as well, I think when you first join, there's a number, as I mentioned earlier, lots of different virtual sessions to introduce you to different parts of the group. We usually have people coming along to talk about the strategy, the different brands within the group, just lots of different topics, and that is offered to graduates across all of the different programmes, not just the sort of engineering or the data science ones. And then this year we also, for the first time since COVID, managed to run an in-person induction event a few weeks after everyone had joined, and that's where we got about 300 people all together for a in-person induction in Birmingham. And that was a combination of graduates and apprentices, and so I think we'd be looking to do something very similar to that next year, which gives you that opportunity not just to meet other people who work in a similar area to you, but I guess other people more broadly across the group as well, which is I think was really, really beneficial from that day, actually.
And I think since COVID, it's about bringing people together, especially where we've got the opportunity, and we're really keen on that. We run internal hackathons and internal conferences as well to bring our engineering community together. And at the heart of that, we put our graduates and industrial placement students as well, and our apprentices, our emerging talent as a whole. Is there any way you can advise to prepare to be ready to perform in the role? I'm currently studying software engineering, but I've been told there's disparity between studying and performing on the job. So Sushmita, you've been here a year. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was like really worried as well. I was thinking about I don't know enough and I need to know more before I start. But with the all the training that you get, and when you join the team, they will definitely train you for the job that there will be. So you do not need to worry, and you do not need to have any prerequisites that you will have to be done before you start, because also like the people joining the grad scheme, they are from very different backgrounds. Some people have done their masters, some people have done their bachelors in computer science, but some people have in like from completely different areas like social sciences, psychology, etc. So you do not need to like be prepared like before you start the job. So I would definitely say it's completely fine to like start the job, then you'll get trained and everyone will be on the same footing before you start working in your teams.
Yeah, and the tests that we do when you're going through the application process are just for us to understand that you have that kind of basic level of coding ability, but we're not, some might understand Python, some might understand SQL, for example, but I'm not going to pretend to know the sort of technology stuff personally, but I guess as long as you've got that basic understanding of a language, for example, or a framework, etc., then absolutely, as Sushmita said, you can learn on the job, and I think that's one of the benefits of the graduate programme and working in an industrial placement, is that you get to work with different people, lots of different teams, and learn lots of different new things that you might not have had the opportunity to otherwise.
Yeah, and just to add to that, so what we did with the 2022 graduates, when quite a bit before they joined, we actually do send out a communication confirming your placement information, what kind of work you're going to be doing, and a contact details for your placement manager. And what we found is there was a lot of contact happening ahead during the summer. So and I know that some of the graduates were asking, are there things we could start learning, and some of the placement managers were able to sort of share some things. It may not be very Lloyds specific, because you might not be able to access some of our internal things, but certainly some of the topic areas to do some kind of early reading and things like that. So yeah, you will get a chance to speak to your placement managers ahead of joining, and there could be some things that they can point you in the direction of.
And just to Chris's point, yes, we've got a big site in Edinburgh, so there's plenty of roles up there. Can you let us know a little bit about your experience with such tests you had done around coding, or specifically what you did to go through that's possible to share? So Jacob, we've mentioned around your involvement on the the Varsity Code. Is there anything else that you did prior to Varsity Code?
Sorry, what do you mean by prior to Varsity Code? Like,
It's like a test, or it's one of the challenges or anything like that to sort of get up to speed on those sort of things.
I'm trying to think. Personally, I did like a lot of like scripting stuff, just like personal stuff, to either automate something I found boring or just generally mess around. Think doing so when I got recruited, I pretty much only did showcode. So I took part in some of the other leagues independent of Lloyds, and then also the Lloyds League itself. All of that was actually really helpful. As for not sure what I'm allowed to share, but am I allowed to share the final part of the recruitment process a little bit?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah. Don't worry, I won't go into too much detail.
But we have the tests, don't we? They're online anyway. You can have a look and have a look at the assessments, the style of them.
Yeah. But the very final assessment day, at least for mine, took like an entire day, and from my recollection, it was not non-technical. Lloyds are they're very much looking for your strengths, and they're looking for what you like if you're ready to learn, and they're just looking for someone who's enthusiastic about the role. Let me put it like that.
Yeah,
rather
that passion
than
is
what
definitely
you actually just currently have. Yeah.
Definitely.
What I would say is that I guess we do review and change a lot of the coding tests every year as well. So even if someone was to tell you what they went through personally, it might not necessarily be the same as what you did. So what I would suggest is going onto the website and having a look at that assessment zone and having a look at the practice tests. And there's a huge amount of information, lots of hints and tips and things like that on there as well. So yeah, I guess that's what my suggestion would be, to get the kind of most accurate view of what types of things you're likely to experience.
I've even seen people posting things on YouTube as well. So we definitely do change it.
Yeah.
Owen and Sushmita, is there anything, any experience you guys got from the assessments or the tests, the coding tests?
So like, especially for like the coding test, it's not really difficult. So as long as I would say just get comfortable with one language, just pick one and like stick with that, because you wouldn't be asked to answer in like one specific language. Just so you can pick one that you're comfortable in, and then just kind of get comfortable with the basics ideas of like algorithms, databases, data structures, those kind of things. And I think you would be good. You can even like kind of Google like common interview technical questions, and if you just like practice few and even like practice some of the ones on the website, I think it should be good enough. And as Jacob said, with the assessment center, it's not very technical. So as long as you have your basics, you understand how programming works, what some of the concepts are, it's I think more than enough.
Super. And Owen, have you had any experience of the assessments?
Yes, I can remember, because mine is for the industrial placement. I remember that we were given like an assessment, like coding assessment. So I think what you can do is just to practice. There are some sites you can just go on website, different sites that would help you to practice your coding skills. So I think we have like Codility, different, like where you can just learn, like what Shushmita said, just try and brush up on your algorithms, data structures, try and know the basics, like the arrays, different things. So I think with that knowledge, you'll be able to you'll be confident in attempting the questions. Yeah, it's just practice. Yeah.
Super, thank you. And then Chris, to your final part of the question, I definitely reckon check out the link I put above, where you can go through the assessments, and we break it down and give all the details of what we're looking for and how you'll be assessed. So if there are no other questions coming through, I'm conscious of time, I just want to give an update on what's coming up in Lloyds Banking Group Sponsorship Month and where other events you can get involved in. And I'm going to try and paste some links into the chat whilst I'm doing this. So we've got the LBG micro hack coming up. So, well, this launched on Monday actually. So it's a 2-week micro hack. The challenge is on supporting small businesses achieving net zero. If you go onto the LBG hub on the Showcode site, you'll be able to find all the details of how to get involved in that. For this one, we've got some great prizes on offer. So we've got Lenovo Android tablets with some Google Docs that come with them, and we've got some other tech prizes as well. They're all available on there, so please go check that out. For those in the Athena community, we've got the community meetup, the in-person sessions. So this is all around sustainability in tech and career discussions. So we're going to be talking about what the impact of using cloud is on our journey to net zero, how we're working with Google. We've talked about GCP a few times today, how we're working with Google to sort of understand that, reduce that, and tool around that. And we're also looking at what it means, what sustainability means in tech for an organization like us. And then we've got another panel discussion on Journey on Careers, which will be really good. Then I've mentioned the Coding League and the Athena meetup. Natalie's just asked, I've applied on Eventbrite waiting list for the meetup. Does this mean I can tender it's fully booked? Alex, I think you're on the call. If you could answer in the chat, that would be super. Staying in touch, we're going to be on Discord. We're going to be on there for across the month, and we can be. If you've got any extra questions, please ask them on Discord, and we'll get those answered. And then finally, we've got 2 sessions coming up. So we run a thing called DT UK, Digital Transformation UK, which is us telling the world about the tech and what we're doing in tech within Lloyds Banking Group. We've got 2 sessions coming up over the next couple of weeks. One is on mortgages. So if you're interested to find out what's going on in the tech space in mortgages, please sign up to this one, and the links are going in. Again, it's all free. These ones run in the day. They're a little bit different. And if all the talk today about GCP and cloud and want to understand a little bit more about what we're doing in cloud, we've got our DT UK cloud services session as well. So one's in December, and the other one I think is next week. The mortgage one is next week, but if you click on the link, it'll take you through to the tickets to sign up for that. And as we've been talking across the whole thing, our graduate scheme application processes are open, so please go check those out as well. So a massive thank you to our panel and speakers today. Thank you for your time this evening. And to everyone who's joined us. I hope you've got something out of that. I hope you found that interesting. A bit of an insight straight from the horse's mouth in terms of how how our graduate schemes and our industrial placements work. It's been a superb session. Any other questions come through? No. Fantastic. Right. With that, I will leave you all there. Have a lovely evening. I hope to see some of you in our micro hack and also on our leaderboard for Varsity Code. Thank you all. Cheers all.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Bye.